Mulimutia everyone! In this video, we're going to learn the basics of charts in Microsoft Excel. Charts help visualize and analyze data. It can be used to present data in an effective way. In this video, we're going to learn the basics of charts and how each type of data goes well together with each type of chart. Let's get started, kati kati. Okay, in this file, we have several different types of data. And let's start with sheet number 1. To insert a chart from this data, you can first select the data to become the source data of the chart. Go to Insert. Under Charts group, you can see that there are various options. For now, let's select Recommended Charts. In here, you can see that there are various types of charts that Excel is recommending. Under here, you can see the explanation about the charts. And also you can select various different types of charts. If I go to all charts, we can see all the different types of charts that you can use in Excel. And since the charts that are above here are the ones that are most usually used, in this video we're going to cover the column, the line, and the pie chart. First of all, the clustered column chart, we have various variations of this chart. Now what this chart is, if you look into it, you can see that this cluster column chart is very useful when comparing values across different categories. You can see that each value is represented in a separate bar, which means that the order of the category is not important. Let's click on this chart and press OK. Then you can see that our chart has been inserted. You can move around the chart, and to adjust the size, you can use this side handles to adjust the size. If you press Shift and use the handle, you can see that the ratio is fixed. And if you press Alt and use the handles, you can see that the chart is being fixed into the cell ranges. If you have made the chart in your preferred way, then you can hover over the elements of the chart to see what each element is. You can see that this is the chart title. And you can see that this is a series, and this value represents 7,600,000. You can go here and you can see that this is the vertical axis. Now to edit the element, you can select, and if it is a text, you can click inside to edit what is inside the text. Maybe I can change it to amount chart. But let's say I want this title to represent a certain cell. To do so, you can select the text box, go up to the formula bar, and you can enter an equal and click on the cell that you want this text to represent. For example, let's say I want this header revenue source to be in the title. I can click and press enter. Then you can see that this title is currently representing the revenue source cell. If I make changes to the cell, for example, I can say revenue type, then you can see that this title is representing the change. Now, looking at the chart, let's say I want to know which value this is representing. To do so, we can enter in a axis title. To do so, we can go on to the right, and when the menu appears after I have selected this chart, and you can see that under here is the chart elements menu. In here, we have various different elements that we can add in. Now, to add in the axis title, we can click on this arrow here. We can click on this one. We can edit this text, or as I have done before, I can select this to represent this header. If I press enter, you can see that this is currently representing the header. And if I want this text box to modify it in a different way, I can right click on this one and click on Format Axis Title. Then this pane will appear, and under here I can go to Text Options, the text box, and then in here maybe I can change the direction of the text to horizontal. And now you can see that this title is currently in horizontal way. You can also delete this element by selecting and press delete. Also in here, on the right menu, you can change the chart styles and also use the filters. You can click on the chart styles and you can see that you can choose from various different type of styles that is in a preset. You can also go to the color tab and you can change the color scheme of this chart. If you go to the filters, you can filter in different data to include or exclude. For example, maybe I want to exclude this market dues. I unselect and then click on apply, and then you can see that this bar market due is excluded. To include it again, you can click on and then apply. If you select the chart and go to the chart design tab, you can see that on here are various options where you can do pretty much the same thing. You can add the chart elements, you can change the color of the chart, and you can change the style of the chart. Let's move on to the next sheet. Now in here we have a little different type of data. This data is currently in the order of time. Now this sort of data can go well with the line chart. Let's go to insert and go here. You can see that we can insert a line chart. If we click on here, we can see that there are various options for the line chart. And if I hover over the line chart, you can see that explanation appears, and this explanation reads, use this chart type to show trends over time. Use it when the order of categories is important. Now since this is exactly what we want, we can click on this one. Now we have our chart. And we can see, if you look into the values here, we can see that this value starts from 0 all the way up to 18 million. But we can see that our data only starts at 11 million. So maybe from 0 to 10 million isn't really necessary. And you can change the field of the values. To do so, we can click on the values field and right click, go to Format Axis. You can see that this pane appears on the right. And under the bounds, you can change the bounds and the range of the values that is represented here. The number after the E is the exponent's number with the base of 10. So E7 would be 10 million. So since I want the minimum number to become 10 million, I can type in 1E7. If I press enter, then you can see that the minimum number has changed to 10 million, and also the maximum number has been changed automatically. And let's say I want to change the format of this chart a little bit. To do so, I select the chart and go to Format tab, and I select this element. Maybe I want this line to become thicker. I can do that by going to Shape Outline, and maybe using the weight option, I can increase to 6 points. And if I want to change the color, I can also change it. Maybe I want to become more light color. And let's say I want this number to become bold. I can select this and press Ctrl B, and then you can see that this number has become bold. Maybe I want this title to become italic. I can do that by pressing Ctrl I. You can also change the title text color by going here. Maybe I want this title text to become black. Now I have made changes to this chart, and let's say I want this format to be used on the charts that are going to be used later on as well. I can apply this same format to the charts later on by using the chart template. If I click on the right on the chart, you can see that we have the menu called Save as Template. If I click this one, then the File Explorer will appear, showing you that Excel will save this chart as a template in a file format. You can save this in the original location, but if you want to change the original location, you can go to File, Options, Save, and under here you can see that you can enter in a custom location. For now, let's use the basic original location. Save as template and press save. And to use the template, let's delete this chart and enter in a new chart again. Let's go to Insert and go to Recommended Charts. And if I click on the All Charts, under the templates, you can see that the templates that I have saved is currently here. I select and press OK, and then you can see that the templates that we have saved has been inserted. There is also a keyboard shortcut to enter in the charts, and that would be Alt F1. I pressed Alt F1, and then you can see that our chart has been entered immediately. Do note that the F1 key may not work depending on the setting of your PC. In this case, you can try pressing the Fn key and pressing the F1 in the same time, or pressing the Fn lock key if it is available. Now, our chart has been inserted, but this chart isn't the type of chart that we want. To change the chart that is inserted through the shortcut, we can go to Insert, go to Recommended Charts, and under All Charts tab here, if I right-click on the type of charts, you can see that I can change so that I can set it as the default chart. Let's set the template that we have created into the default chart. Now, you can see that our chart has been entered. Well, let's say I want to enter it in keyboard shortcut. Now, another way to enter in the chart is to press the F11 key. What this will do is enter in the chart in a new sheet. Now you can see that our template chart has been saved and it is currently inserted as the basic chart. If I want to move this chart into different sheet, you can press Move Chart here. Maybe I want this to be object in, let's say, sheet number 2. Now you can see that this chart has been moved to sheet number 2. In this sheet, we have the data of age group and the number of participants. And we also have the data of total. Let's say I want a chart that represents each age group and the number of participants in proportion to the total data. One good chart that you can use is the pie chart. Now, for the pie chart, we have to exclude the total, so we can select without the total and go to Insert, and under here we can see that I can insert a pie chart. We have various different type of pie chart, and for now let's go with the basic one here. We can see that we have entered in the pie chart, and we can also see that how each age group is currently distributed among the total. But let's say I want this to be more clear so that which piece of pie represents each age group more clearly. One way to do this is to go to Quick Layout, and under here you can see that you can change the layout under the default settings that Excel is providing. Maybe I want to select this one, and then you can see that the chart layout has been changed. You can also click on the series and the elements here, and you can modify it. Maybe I can drag it outside. Then you can see that this one is standing out a little more. I can maybe drag out this one, and maybe I can increase the size. In sheet number 4, we can see that there are several different columns, and each column contains numeric data. We can also see that this data isn't in the order of time. For this type of data, we can compare across different categories using the clustered column chart. Let's go to Insert, and then under here, we can see that we can enter in the clustered column chart. If I enter in here, you can see that our chart has been created, and each column is represented by different colors of bars. Under here, we can see that each bar is grouped under the name of the parish. If I want to change the grouping and how each row and column is being referenced here, I can go to Switch Row and Column. If I click on this one, you can see that this is going to swap the row and column in the reference data. So you can see that each bar is currently grouped under the category that is on the column, and then under here you can see the name of the parish as the legend. You can also modify the source data by clicking on the handles here, and if I shrink the handles, you can see that this data is excluded. Also, maybe I can shrink this one, and you can see that there are only this data inside the chart. In the same way, if I want to expand the data so that it represents more, then I can expand by using this handle and expanding the data. Then we are in the final chart. In here, we also have data in several different columns, but in this time, we have the data in the order of time. For this type of data, we can use the line chart again. We can go to chart here, line chart. And if I click on maybe this one, you can see that we have created a line chart with multiple lines. And you can see that each line represents each column. One final thing that I'm going to explain in this video is to export the chart to Word or PowerPoint. You can create a chart in Excel, and maybe you want to use the chart in the Word document or PowerPoint presentation. You can do that easily by copying and pasting, but let me show you how to do it. You can click on this one, the chart that I'm going to copy, press Ctrl C, and then you can go to PowerPoint. In here, I have created a simple PowerPoint here, and maybe I want to insert it in here. You can go up to paste, and under paste options, you can see that there are 5 different options to paste this chart. First of all, if you enter the chart in a picture format, this is going to be the most simple way to enter the chart. However, you can see that this chart is not able to edit since this is only a picture. Let's go on to the next slide. Now, under the paste options, we can see that there are 4 other options. We have use destination theme or keep source formatting. What use destination theme will do is fit the chart that I have copied into this PowerPoint and follow the destination theme that would be the theme of this PowerPoint presentation. You can see that this chart format is matching the PowerPoint theme a little bit here. If I use the keep source formatting, it is going to keep the original format of the Excel file as shown in here. What is really important is whether to embed workbook or link data. If I select link data and enter in the chart, let's go and see what this will do. Let's go to the original Excel file here. And if I make changes to this data, for example, maybe I can change it into 2, you can see that this data is immediately represented in the PowerPoint as well. So you can see that this chart is currently linked into this Excel file. However, this link will only work when both the Excel file and the PowerPoint presentation is at the original location. Another way you can use is to embed the workbook. Let's go here, and maybe I can use embed workbook. If I do this, and if I make changes to the Excel workbook again, let's say I change this to 0, you can see that no changes has been made to this sheet. However, if I go to the previous chart, you can see that this is currently representing the change that has been made under here. If you want to edit the data of this chart in PowerPoint, you can select the chart, go to chart design, and you can select edit data. In here, you can edit data in a new tab or in Excel. So I can click on the new tab, and here you can edit the data by yourself. You can do the very same thing in Word as well. And since this is also a chart in PowerPoint, you can click on the chart and adjust the chart design a little bit with what PowerPoint gives you. You can also change the format of the chart inside PowerPoint as well. This is everything that I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you for listening. Mabalin